This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Well, good evening to you. After another day of bitter cold, we are all hoping to get some relief tonight.
Let's check in now with Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Kevin.
I think you'll see relief in the forecast quickly during the day tomorrow. Right now it is cold. At least it's not very windy. Wind chill temperatures not much of a factor. Clear sky, temps slowly falling. Some spots already in the single digits. That light south wind will go to work and start to move temperatures in a positive direction tomorrow. Indy's down 1 degree from last hour. You still see a little of the orange glow on the horizon after a beautiful sunset. Temperature 5 degrees in Kokomo, 4 in Frankfurt. Clearly, pardon the pun, some spots may still drop below 0 before we start to rebound. While you have no snow to the south, temperatures are warmer, 23. For the evening hours, temperatures in the teens, dry with a light wind. If you're headed out to dinner, you've got no issues. We'll talk about the changes for tomorrow and Sunday coming up.
New tonight, an official report recommends a 60-day license suspension as punishment for Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill, finding that he violated rules of professional conduct. That recommendation is from an Indiana Supreme Court hearing officer. This stems from allegations that he drunkenly groped 4 female colleagues at a bar in 2018. The Supreme Court will have the final say on whether this punishment is carried out. Hill has continually denied the accusations against him.
The town of Pendleton has been recovering and rebuilding since the tornado touched down and caused major damage last spring.
Only RTV6 was invited by the community for a special surprise for the police department.
Our Stephanie Wade was there and shows what a community can do when they come together.
It's been a difficult time for some people the past 10 months since that EF2 tornado ripped through this community last May. But they're not focusing on that today. It's just all about love.
I'm handing you a check for $8,800 for the new generator for the police department. So
that's huge. Thank you.
A dozen businesses raised nearly $9,000 to help pay for a much-needed generator for the Pendleton Police Department and surprised the chief with the check today, knowing police didn't have a backup generator because they couldn't afford it, and how that affected them the day the tornado hit and the week following. People came together to show PD they care.
We have 5 major roadways, and what happens is we get a lot of crashes, and electric poles get hit, power goes out, and at the PD it has a major effect because everything's computer-based, shuts it down, reboots, and it causes issues there. So this is a safety thing for our equipment. And then just in the matter of a hazard like the tornado, we had a building with no power, and to run a police department under those situations made it rough.
This donation ensures the safety of the community and that police are ready and able to serve.
And this is huge. And the love from this town just tears me up.
Working for you in Pendleton, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And happening tonight, a community is coming together not only to pray, but to share resources in hopes of bringing an end to deadly violence. Last week, 4 people between the ages of 19 and 22 were shot to death at Carriage House East Apartments near 42nd and Mithofer. Since then, we've heard countless people living there say something needs to change. Along with this vigil tonight, a mother of one of those victims is helping host a resource sharing event, including resources for mental health and addiction.
Today marks 3 years since the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby Durbin were found in Delphi. The teenagers were reported missing February 13th, 2017. Investigators say the girls were on a walk along the old Monon High Bridge when they were approached by a man. Their bodies were found the next day. Now, 3 years later, investigators' search for the girls' killer continues.
Meanwhile, others are working to delve further into the Delphi daughters, who they were and what happened. Our Alyssa Donovan explains how the creators of a new podcast are hoping to help keep Abby and Libby's story at the forefront of people's minds.
The podcast, Down the Hill, takes listeners through the day the girls went missing.
And before you know it, everybody in town knows there's something wrong.
To the minute they were found.
Less than a quarter mile from the bridge, Libby's sister Kelsey hears searchers discover a black Nike shoe.
And the investigation that followed. Andrew Iden and Barbara McDonald tell me that along with the basics, listeners will hear from people in the community, law enforcement, and family members of both Abby and Libby.
We're trying to make sure that we give people the opportunity to hear the story from the voices of all the people who are living it every single day.
True crime podcasts have been credited with helping authorities with other cases, like the podcast The Murder Squad, which was recently credited with leading to an arrest in a cold case from the 80s. And the podcast The Teacher's Pet led to a new investigation into a cold case in Australia. Iden and McDonald say they're not trying to solve this case, but they hope bringing Abby and Libby's story to a wider audience will make a difference.
There's so many people interested in true crime that if we can get our story out to some of those people, hopefully we can move the needle and make some progress.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
And Indiana State Police Sergeant Kim Riley, who is featured on the podcast, says he believes it could be helpful in keeping people aware of the case and informed about how important it is to call in tips.
Yeah, and he reiterates that someone knows something and they just need the right person to come forward with information. Investigators released this new sketch of the possible suspect last year. They say it's not a photograph but a composite based on witness accounts. They're asking for help identifying the driver of a vehicle parked near the trail where Libby and Abby were last seen. If you have any information that could help solve this case, you're asked to call the tip line. That number is 844-459-5786. You can also email tips. For all the details about the case, head to the RTV6 app or our website, theindychannel.com. Health officials keep telling us to be more worried about the flu than the coronavirus. We're tracking both. Coming up, for first this season for flu deaths in Indiana and growing concern over COVID-19.
Plus, a small-town Indiana man is doing big things with a formerly vacant school. How he is using a piece of history to look to the future. Ahead on the news on RTV6.
Well, for the first time this season, the flu has claimed the life of a child in Indiana.
According to the report out today from the State Health Department, one of the deaths recorded in the past week is a child age 4 or younger. No information is shared about any of the patients besides their age. So far this season, 54 people in Indiana have died. That number is up 4 from last week. The majority of people who have died have been 65 or older.
New developments in the coronavirus or COVID-19 tonight. United States health officials now say it could stick around for a while. The CDC is preparing for what would happen if there's a widespread outbreak here. Right now, there are 15 confirmed cases in 7 states. Officials say it could become what's known as the community virus by next year. Their hope is to have a vaccine and better treatment developed by then. China now reports the virus has killed 1,300 people there.
Coming up this All-Star Weekend, we are looking to the future, what you can expect when the NBA All-Star Game makes its home in the Circle City. Kevin.
And we'll talk about what you could expect for the weekend. Temperature trend above average. I know that sounds weird now with temperatures in the single digits, but it will happen.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
It can be frustrating when you have no cell phone service.
Maybe it's your location. Maybe it's a fluke system issue. Well, this is happening to more people, but sometimes it's no accident.
Our Annie Taylor is looking deeper into this problem.
I was getting ready to walk out of the house and I got a text from my husband that said, I have a notification that someone changed the password on your phone. And I tried to call him on my phone and it said that I had no service.
Terry Warner's world was flipped upside down that day. She called her phone company Cricket to figure out what was going on. They told her someone called and switched her number and service to T-Mobile.
I am like Googling quickly what is going on, like how can somebody else have my phone number, and I ran across what was called a port out scan.
That set off a chain reaction of criminal activity.
So he's on all of my accounts because he now has access to my email, my bank account, credit card, everything.
The Warners say the person tried making withdrawals from a retirement account and applied for credit cards in their name. Meanwhile, they froze their credit, contacted the FBI, credit companies, all while pleading with the phone company.
I was in tears and I was like screaming and I was like, you don't understand, like this guy was a criminal and you gave him my phone number. Now I just want my phone number back.
Kept on saying, well, it had to have been your husband. We see this all the time. There's marital problems, and they'll just port the number out. And I was like, that's not what happened.
Courtney Cox's number was also ported out, and within hours, someone made a request for new credit cards on her account.
So they had a note in their system that said that I had called and that I had told them that I was on vacation and that I was at a nightclub in Florida and that I was robbed at gunpoint and my cards were stolen.
Cox said new credit cards were overnighted to South Florida. Police told us a package was signed for. They say in fraud cases, it's common for scammers to mail things to random addresses, track the packages, and show up to sign for them, or pay someone else to pick it up, or simply just steal the mail.
So with the port scam, it's fairly easy for scammers to actually take advantage of you with this scam. All they need is very simple information.
The Better Business Bureau is seeing an increase in port-out scams.
A lot of time it's through phishing attacks, through emails, where you're going to links and it's asking for personal information. If you're filling out online surveys through chats or through customer service dialogues where it may not be the true source.
To protect yourself, the Bureau says request port-out authorization from your cell phone provider. It's additional security steps. And don't use your date of birth or social security numbers as PINs. It could save you a lot of trouble later.
It was literally one of the worst things that ever happened to us. It was beyond a hassle. I mean, it consumed my life.
And the Better Business Bureau says you should report any scams like this on their scam tracker website and to the Federal Trade Commission and local police.
Well, Indianapolis is on the clock. The NBA All-Star Game will be in the Circle City 1 year from now in 2021.
And it's the 2020 All-Star Weekend now. This year's game is in nearby Chicago. There is a team from Indianapolis who will be up in the Windy City this weekend, taking notes on the things they like or don't like about that All-Star Game in hopes of making Indies even better.
So what can you expect a year from now? Well, the NBA All-Star Game will be held at Bankers Life Fieldhouse on February 14th of 2021. A lot of celebrities and out-of-town guests will be at the game, but if you can't get a ticket, there will still be plenty of festivities for you to take part in.
Yeah, so it's been decades since we've hosted the NBA All-Star Game, and we're prepared as a team to turn our downtown into that festive environment that we've done for Big Ten Football Championship, for the Super Bowl, for Final Fours, and for major conventions. So park your cars and walk, and that's what a fan will see. They'll be able to walk up and down Georgia Street and have an interactive experience. They'll be able to step inside all of our bars and restaurants and hotel lobbies and feel part of the game, even if they don't have a ticket to the actual game.
Visit Indy Senior Vice President Chris Gall says there will also be a lot of kid-friendly, a lot of family-friendly, and a lot of health-related activities during NBA All-Star Weekend next year.
The city really is going to come alive. A call to action to you tonight as frigid cold temperatures lead to more animals being surrendered to Indianapolis Animal Care Services.
IACS is hoping you'll come out for a special late-night adopt-a-thon tomorrow night. This will be the second time the shelter has stayed open late to give you a better chance to get there to find a new family member. The shelter on South Harding Street will stay open till 10 tomorrow night, and adoptions will be just $5.
And those temperatures are going to be getting into the single digits overnight tonight.
They're there now in some spots. I think this is always difficult to predict because we never warmed up today. Skies are clear and the wind is light, so that just sets the stage for these to just plummet for a while. But the south wind will eventually rescue us. Well, there are a lot of icicles out there, aren't there? This is just my fence. As I was leaving the house today, had to stop and get a picture of that. Those will melt on their own during the day tomorrow. 6 below in Peru this morning, one of the cold spots. Temperature right now in Zionsville is 9. 13 in Castleton. At least it's not windy because that would really drive these wind chill temperatures well below 0. Right now, 2 below is the wind chill in Peru. 7 above the actual temperature in the single digits, as you can see in Lafayette. And from Indy south, notice how the temperature and the wind chill are the same. The wind is calm. 38 tomorrow. Temperature makes a nice jump from morning lows in the teens into the upper 30s. We'll add a few more degrees on Sunday. The clouds will increase second half of tomorrow and then filter into the first half of Sunday. Tomorrow, one of the changes will be the wind that strengthens gusting over 20 miles per hour, but out of the south, so that will help, and that will start to draw warmer temperatures north of the Ohio River, and the southern half of the state where there is not snow cover on the ground will warm up more rapidly than the northern half of the state. Temperature by noon tomorrow, 33. Then as we go to the late afternoon, the mixture of clouds and sunshine continues. I think most of the initial cloud cover will come in mid to high level clouds during the afternoon hours. Watch what happens. You see the gray there, kind of the light gray are the higher clouds, and then we get a little moisture, some snow if you're headed towards Chicago late in the day Saturday, or South Bend into lower Michigan. There's a little line of snow showers and light snow. Some spots, say Logansport, Peru, could see a couple snow showers from that. Sunday, more clouds in the morning, more sunshine in the afternoon. Temperature does make it above 40 degrees for the afternoon high. There's the cloud cover at 7 a.m. I'll stop this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You see the clouds starting to move out, which means more sunshine for the second half of the day, and the temperatures will respond to that. Early next week, our temperatures will be well above average just for a couple of days. We're back to 33 on Wednesday, but those are important days with above average temperatures because it's also when the next surge of moisture arrives and should be in the form of rain. Rain likely Monday, still some showers Tuesday with 45 degrees, then we're colder after that.
Just got to push through this cold night tonight.
We can do it.
I am thankful for the sunshine we got today, though.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
So nice.
Blue skies, too. All right, thanks, Kevin, for that. The town of Trafalgar is a small one, and one man in Johnson County is working to turn a part of its unused history into a place the community can gather and grow. Our Kelsey Anderson has his story.
At one point, this was the cafeteria for Indian Creek Elementary, but after closing in 2016 and being vacant for 4 years, it's now the dream kitchen of James Lockard. James Lockard tells me one day he was running errands and came across a for lease sign outside of Indian Creek Elementary School. That's when he had the idea to get in there and turn the old schoolhouse into his restaurant, his home, and a place for the community to gather. He tells me he's already been talking with people to see what they want out of the space.
We partnered with the Johnson County Library. They're going to be coming in doing a bunch of programs for the smaller kids. And then a lot of people have been wanting to come in just to see the school because they either went here or their kids went here.
Lockard also plans to allow other entrepreneurs to rent out the unused classrooms. The entire building is 67,000 square feet. So if anyone in the community has a big or crazy idea, Lockard says there could be a place for you right here. Working for you in Trafalgar, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And today, these students made sure no kid would be left without some company. A special event at Stoutfield Elementary School highlighted why National No One Eats Alone Day is so important. The students learned about social isolation and the negative effects it can have on kids' health and performance in school. We talked to student Carl Spiso about how learning about social isolation changed him for the better.
I used to not like to work with people, and like me inviting myself to people and like letting people join me and stuff, it like helped me become a better person.
Organizers say students have shown when they are given the proper tools, they will stand up for others as empathetic and caring activists, not passive bystanders.
Still ahead here at 7, it may be just a little token of Valentine's affection, but it could knock out power for your entire neighborhood. The warning when the news continues on RTV6.
That easy. Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
Well, this is the news on RTV6 on this Valentine's Day. Those Mylar heart balloons might make for a cute gift,
but they could also ruin the night for your whole block if you're not careful.
Electric companies say helium-filled balloons with metallic lining can cause power outages if they float away and get tangled in power lines. They're more of a threat than other balloons because that coating can act as a conductor for electricity, and that can short out transformers and melt electrical wires. Two of the country's biggest power companies say metallic balloon strikes resulted in about 500 outages for their customers just last year.
Don't do it.
Yeah, who knew?
So,
balloons.
Just be careful. They are fun to have. Just
the
like
whole neighborhood coming after you. I saw Gregory walking in with a whole bunch of balloons.
Put the lights out for all of us.
Say hello to Dax. He'd love a walk this evening, and he's getting one because I'm taking him on the evening walk with our forecast.
Aww.
You can share
Dax
your
dogs.
dogs.
Is so pretty.
Yeah, Dax is.
He's handsome, excuse me.
Regal is what I was saying.
I like that too.
He's not a beagle. He's a golden retriever, but he's still
Dax.
regal.
No, isn't that an English retriever? Is that what it's called?
Oh, English cream or something?